Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. We are back with another video. We had a break for the holidays. We took a few weeks off, so we're back with another
Getting
video.
back into the swing.
Exactly. If you have a chance, head down in the show notes. We're going to have links to all the books we're going to talk about today, as well as links to support the podcast and the YouTube channel as well.
Keep us going. Hit like and subscribe.
Yes, please. I hear all the YouTube creators saying that. Like and subscribe,
It really matters though, guys.
And I've heard them say, hit the notification bell so we can get it in your inbox as well.
Yeah. Do that thing.
Do that thing.
I don't know how to do that myself. He's the tech one.
Hit the things and like all the likes. Anyway, we were in the Jurassic period. More importantly, where were we in the world? We were in the Jurassic period. We had finished the Triassic period, and now we are steadily in the middle of the Mesozoic period, middle of the dinosaurs.
Right. We've got 5 solid weeks in our combination of Blossom and Root and Build Your Library Prehistory of dinosaurs. So we started with this Mesozoic overview of what is a dinosaur, and we moved into the Triassic, and now, which wasn't as exciting with the animals weren't as exciting, but now the Jurassic's
this is where
prime time.
This is kind of where dinosaurs like got turbocharged, big time. We always like to have a couple focuses when you're going into these topics. There's so many things you can do, and these are not necessarily the things you have to do, but these are the things we like to do is kind of narrow it down so we can keep that focus and we keep hammering that concept into, with all the materials that you're reading, we can keep coming back to a couple of concepts.
Well, right. And really, I think the important thing here is that Blossom and Root has between 4 and 8 big picture messages per week in the Blossom and Root Wonder Weeks, and of one of which this is one. And I think that because we're not doing this is a 3rd grade science unit extension, we're doing this with a 1st grader, we've really pared that down to kind of 2 to 3 main messages. So that's why we're telling you kind of what we've done, because we are doing this with a slightly younger child. Yeah. So what were our focuses this week?
Our focuses were, they kind of coupled together. So as Pangea, and we've all heard that term, began to break up, it began to divide the dinosaurs into various areas. And so there's a lot of diversification. So continuing to bring back the idea of evolution. And the isolation of these dinosaurs allowed a lot more diversification, a lot more different types of dinosaurs. And we got to add in there a little bit of plate tectonics. So we got to talk about how the Earth is constantly changing and how those changes could affect what type of animals are on the planet. So it was a nice little pairing there that we were able to do for this period specifically. So the last 2 weeks, we talked about a couple dinosaur books. Now we're going to talk about a 3rd potential spine dinosaur book.
Right. This is another spine from Blossom and Root. This is part of what's available in their sample. So we're trying to highlight, if you're new to the show, we're trying to highlight a different spine on each episode. So this one is Where on Earth, which is a series of DK Smithsonian atlases.
Atlasi?
Don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is a series of books. There's a few of them. There's a Where on Earth, a When on Earth. This one is Where on Earth Dinosaurs, which is particularly awesome.
So in the previous 2 books, we talked about how they like to break up dinosaurs by their characteristics, which seems reasonable. And then another one was breaking it up by period. So like Jurassic, Triassic, Cretaceous, and they were breaking the dinosaurs up. This one did it in location, so that fed nicely into our theme of diversification, plate tectonics, and evolution. What was great about this is it focused on some area of the world that you're in. So for example, North America. And it went ahead and showed you geologically what North America looked like through time, and then showed you the dinosaurs that own that area in that time. So if you flip the page, another dinosaur will be showcased, and you will see it had moved forward in time. So they're showing you in a location through time all the dinosaurs in those snapshots. And what's great about it is you can use this for Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous as you move through. And I really like this book because it really fed into that idea. So we constantly had to go up here. I wish they would have said a little bit more like, this is Triassic. You had to kind of hunt that this was the Triassic or the Jurassic. But other than that, if you just knew the time periods, you could keep getting, you can, narrow down.
I just love this map focus for dinosaurs. I've never seen a book before that focused on where they actually lived. I mean, you focused on attributes or, other cool facts, but this is a very unique book. It's the only one that I've seen that does this. And I feel like this is a really great spine to have in your home, a really great homeschool reference book because it's so different.
Yeah, I think it blends the characteristics of the animal, because they do talk a little bit about the location and also I believe the habitat that those dinosaurs like to inhabit. That's really nice. So you're talking about here's the characteristics, here's the time period, but also talking about the place through time. I really loved this book. It was a really good addition to this week's book list.
Yeah, I think this one's great. I would definitely pick this one up. I think this was worth it. We did buy this book, and I would agree that this is a good
We have
buy.
a number of these Where On, when
Yeah,
on
there's a 3 series. So there's this one. There's Where on Earth, which we used when we were doing our Around the World study. This is Where on Earth Dinosaurs. And then there's When on Earth, which we will use when we start out with ancient history. Here
so
later this year.
It's a nice slotting of books that we've been using.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to think about things where they took place, and I think that's really fun.
Next book is Dinosaurs and Other Prehistoric Life. So if you're looking for...
This is a handbook, a Smithsonian handbook.
Kind of a handbook, maybe something smaller of a spine book, a little bit more detail, a little bit more information. So if you have a little bit older learner, maybe in that 3rd grade, maybe the 4th grade level, nice little pocket book. This one is divided by time period, so Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. If you like to say, okay, we're going to be looking at the dinosaurs between these periods, so let's look at this section of the book. It also covers a little bit of prehistoric life, so if you want to pull this book into some of your earlier time periods before dinosaurs, and also it's nice after the Cretaceous period when we begin into the Paleogene period, which is the rise of the mammals, which we'll be starting in a couple weeks. So it does span the whole time period, so it's a nice little alternative. And I like it because it's a little bit smaller. So if you're homeschooling on a little bit more of a tighter area, if you don't have that much shelf space, maybe cost-wise, maybe you have to homeschool on the go a little bit more, this would be a nice alternative to say to some of the larger spine books that we've talked about.
I feel like this is the kind of book that I would want if I were going to be doing a trip to the Natural History Museum, if you're going to go to the Smithsonian, or you're going to, what we hope to do in a couple of years is go to some dinosaur digs here in the Western United States. I feel like this would be a great book to have because it does pack so small. You could put this in a day pack, and as you're going to different monument sites or museums, you could pull it out and get that information really quickly. I think that's probably the best use for this. Or like you said, if you're, road schooling or, this would be one that you could take with you on the go.
Cover is also really durable, but it's paperback, so it doesn't have that flimsy nature, but it's a little bit more firm. So great to throw in a backpack, and it feels like it's not going to be torn to shreds. Yeah,
I feel like these are all going to be fairly consistent. The spines that we've talked about, the dinosaur book, the dinosaur ! This Where on Earth, this one, they're all DK Smithsonian titles. So you're going to get they're going to get good consistency between them, and I trust the Smithsonian and DK, so hopefully the information is pretty accurate, but you're not going to get like a lot of conflicting, looking at things differently, so I think that's really nice.
Absolutely. Good recommendation. So Dinosaur Empire, Abby Howard, we talked about an earlier book during, I think, the Silurian and the Ordovician period, which was the rise of the fish.
So this is one we've added. And this is done all as a comic style.
Yep.
So
very playful, very fun, kind of in the vein of like a Magic Schoolhouse, but not as like quirky.
Magic School Bus,
Yeah, Magic School Bus. Not Magic Schoolhouse. Magic Schoolhouse. It was at the anyway. This is a little bit.
You're thinking Schoolhouse Rock, not the same thing.
Yes, thank you. This book's a little bit more playful, less playful than those books, but still fun, still educational.
There's a lot of information here. I think
a ton. It's packed. You can't like read the whole thing start to finish. You would think in like a graphic novel like this, you could just rip through it really fast. You just can't.
No, I feel like this is above our daughter's 1st grade abilities, so we read it in small chunks.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to show you, especially if you do have a child who you do have a 3rd grade child doing this. I think this book is really, really great for that mid to upper. It might be a bit advanced for the age we're doing. We do like to look through it. We do pick out pieces. It's great for the visual reference. So we did want to talk with you about it. This one's Dinosaur Empire, Journey Through the Mesozoic.
Covers all 3 periods as well, and even spans early and late Jurassic and Cretaceous. So Cretaceous is such a long period, it does break those up into pieces, so there's a little bit more information there as well. Yeah. So if you're looking for something playful in those periods,
if you got a kid that really loves comics, I think this is a good way to go.
Absolutely. All right. Shall we get into our first chapter book?
Right. So this is Raptor Red. We're reading this. We split this across 2 weeks. So this is a paperback that we added. I started to read this to our daughter and quickly realized that this was not appropriate for a 1st grader. Nope. I got this on the Build Your Library History Book by Book website.
Great website.
So really great website. The reason we wanted to show it to you, I love as an adult to read along and kind of learn with our daughter, and we've done that before. I'm in the middle of reading *Sapiens* too, which we'll talk about later too, as we study this. This book is the life of a Utah raptor, which is the raptor from Jurassic Park, is a Utah raptor. the life of a raptor told from her perspective, with all the gory details about how she hunts and how she migrates and all that stuff.
All the gory details.
Right. So totally not appropriate for a young child, but great for an adult who wants to follow along and like really feel like what it was like to live in that time. I think it would also be great if you have an older learner coming with you along. You've got a 12, 13-year-old who is following along with you, or a kid that's just totally good with anything gory. So our daughter, we only read like one chapter, and I went, "This isn't appropriate for you."
I took a stab on the second chapter. I was like, "I agree, it's not.
This is not appropriate."
Definitely not.
But I read a lot of it, and I thought it was really good. We're still in the middle of it, but I think it's really neat for an adult or an older student if you want to get from the dinosaur's perspective. I've never seen another book that actually did that in a novel form. Yeah. And it was really interesting, really gripping.
You can almost think he probably. I would have loved to talk to the author and see, like, did you do Call of the Wild for dinosaurs?
I mean, it's almost cinematic the way that it's described, and how she makes her way, into North America and life with her mate and hunting. And it's really, really good, but not appropriate for kiddos. So great for you, great for an older student. Raptor Red, and this is by Robert Baker.
Yep. Next one, Could You Survive in the Prehistoric Time?
So this is a 3-part book. So there
are 3 books in one.
The one that we're really talking about today is Could You Survive the Jurassic Period? Yep. This is a choose your own adventure dinosaur book.
It's very cool.
So you're an explorer, right?
No, you're young kids that get accidentally transported magically via some port key type of thing into the past. Yes, I know. Back in time to a certain time period, you tend to have like maybe multiple people, classmates and everything that come with you, maybe like 2 or 3 kids, and you guys have to solve a problem, or you have to figure out what to do, and you have to try to survive. Sometimes you get back, sometimes you live in the Jurassic period until the end of your days, type of thing. Sometimes you get munched. Sometimes you get caught up in a...
Sometimes a classmate gets munched.
Sometimes a classmate gets munched.
It's not gory, though.
No, there was no like violence or anything like that. There was a little bit of peril and scenes of like little tension, but it wasn't terrible. It always ended like, well, you shouldn't have done that. The volcano exploded. You turned into ash. Go back to this page and try again. That type of thing. Our
daughter really loves choose your own adventure stuff, and so this has just been a really just something fun to do. Yeah. So we bought this book because it has 3 books in it. It has Could You Survive the Jurassic, the Cretaceous, and the Ice Age. So we've got 3 in 1, and it was a really good deal for that. So
a lot of times it's just text, so you got to have a reader that has a little bit more patience. Some, every 3rd or 4th page has a nice.
There's not very many words per page though, and these aren't long. How long would you say it takes you to do a whole story in it?
So it depends on how many threads you want to go after, but you could sit here for 20-30 minutes and read multiple threads. The hardest thing is when you're doing books like this is to have a set of bookmarks ready, so you go from the first trunk of your first decision, so you can go back. A lot of times if you get 3 or 4 decisions in, they don't tell you to go back to the right page. They tell you to go all the way back to the start. And maybe you want to go back and say, well, what if we didn't go, after that dinosaur and we went and hit over here instead? And it's nice to have bookmarks to be able to jump back and forth. That's just a pro tip on these. Yeah.
Our daughter wants to explore every possible storyline.
Yeah, we want to get all the storylines. And she like kind of cheats and looks at the end and says, "Oh, we died." I'm like, "Yeah, but I got to read it. We got to finish it." So anyway, fun little thing. Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great, especially since it's going to cover 3 weeks worth. I think it's fun that we bought it. And I think that this is one that our daughter will probably revisit when she's able to read longer books like this, just for fun, because she loves
we've been slowly accumulating some of those great Choose Your Adventure books, and this would be a nice little addition with all those. I have some Indiana Jones Choose Your Adventure books that are really fun.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, exactly. So then movie-wise, those were the books. Movie-wise, obviously, Jurassic period, we watched Jurassic Park. Now, that can be...
We didn't watch it with our little one, and our older daughter is not like peril stuff doesn't really bother her.
Doesn't bother her, so we watched Jurassic Park.
We just covered her eyes when the lawyer got eaten. But other than that, she was pretty good. So your mileage may vary, but we decided this week we wanted to just do something fun, and Jurassic Park's one of our favorite movies. So
absolutely. And then we also finished Prehistoric Planet, which I think we talked about last week, which is the documentary on Apple Plus.
Yeah, I think we had just one last episode, maybe.
We had the one last episode, which was the mating one with the little arms.
No, I thought we did the little arms last week.
Okay,
I don't know. We've watched... Here's the problem with Prehistoric Planet. It's so good that we have rewatched several episodes. So We're not sure exactly when we watched the last one, but if you haven't seen it on Apple TV Plus, it's fantastic. It is definitely worth the price of admission, getting a month's worth of Apple Plus or something, just so you can watch it, because it's excellent.
It's excellent. Next, videos-wise, we focused heavily on the Stegosaurus videos. There were some Eons videos, and I think a couple of National Geographic videos as well.
In Blossom and
Root that focused on the Stegosaurus. And that then catapulted us into creating a actual size Stegosaurus on our driveway.
I came home from work and there
30-foot long
a chalk Stegosaurus.
It's a massive, and we actually we had the book. I think we had one of the dino books out. And we were saying, okay, 15 feet high, and my daughter was out there with the tape, and we were actually marking it off with chalk, and we actually built the Stegosaurus in real life, and so they could appreciate the size of the dinosaur and actually see it in real life. I think we went to their bedroom too, and we peered down and saw it on the street. We were hoping that all the kids, as they came back from the school buses, would see the dinosaurs. And I don't think anyone saw it.
I don't think anybody
noticed. It rained the next day, and our Stegosaurus disappeared. Also, we did some art. Oh, children's art is the best. It's like modern art.
We got these really cheap foam sheets at the craft store, and they're sticky on the back.
Sticky on the back.
So you peel them with some popsicle sticks. You can't see this little tiny mouth and stuff, and then little paper clips or clothespins.
Children's art. This is the stuff that people stay for. This is what they want to see.
This is the stuff we can do with our 3-year-old in tow. Yep. And so we gave some markers. There was some paint.
It was simple.
It was simple. The kids had a great time with it. They had a good time. These are the kind of small art projects that they can show to their grandparents. We have one of those Google Nest Hub Maxes in our kitchen, and so our kids can be like, "Call Nana," and then they're like, show them all the stuff. So that's one of the ways that we have that they can present their art.
Quick projects to do, hey, we had a really busy day. I want to get a little bit more dinos in. I think most of these type of projects that I do are in the evening when you're busy on something and I've got to entertain them for the last hour before bedtime.
Yeah.
These are the type of things I can just pull down and do really quick.
How could we make a quick Stegosaurus out of all the stuff that we have? Exactly. So, there's lots of great suggested activities in the curriculum, but if you want to do something simple too, doesn't have to be amazing. The kids had a great time making these.
So that was the Jurassic period. We had a really good week. We're on to the Cretaceous period, the longest of the dinosaur periods, and it ends very cataclysmic-y. But that's a good thing because we wouldn't be here. So anyway, we had a great time. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you like and subscribe and on both our podcast and here on the YouTube channel. And if you want to support our talky faces, head down to the Gumroad store and there's a support button there as well. So thanks you guys. See you in a week.